Oh. Oh! Crushing blunt trauma, blades where they shouldn't be, and run-ins with teratomas brought to life. In honor of the new film coming out, today we're breaking down and reacting to the Silent Hill gameplay. Let's dive right in. Whoa, cool. Your body's being pulled apart in different directions. There's strain. You're initially going to feel the joints as well as the muscles that feel like they're going to be ripping. If you actually have a torn muscle, you'll see bruising, bleeding, swelling to the area. Sometimes it can be a partial tear versus a complete tear. You'll potentially still have function of that muscle, but there'll be bruising, swelling, and pain in that area. At first, I'm like, oh, she's getting some weird petechiae, basically broken blood vessels underneath the skin. You can actually get parasites or small worms actually inside the eye itself, swimming around. Will impede your vision or feel like there's like blurriness to your vision, and can definitely cause infection into the eye itself, which then could cause significant amount of pain. Not cool. What's happening? What was that?
What the hell was that?
It almost looks like those red roots are going through her body. I see people use different types of produce, like a root vegetable, put in different holes or orifices. Those roots can actually grow out. So you gotta be really careful where you put things and what type of vegetables we're putting in her body, because they actually could grow. I feel like if it's totally going all the way through her face, through her eyes, it's probably in her brain and not survivable to this extent. It looks like a Barbie doll gone rogue.
Never seen that before.
Hyperextending your joints that way. Some people have connective tissue diseases like Ehlers-Danlos or other very rare connective disease processes where your joints can be hypermobile. Then maybe it can move in these weird directions, but not in general. And not wielding a big, huge knife. Oh. Oh! That amount of blood wouldn't typically happen from a direct hit in the middle. For that amount of blood to come out from a neck injury, you have had to hit either the carotid artery or the jugular vein. You wouldn't hit midline, even though there are some blood vessels there. It would be lateral to your airway, lateral to your esophagus. You'd still be able to talk, so it wouldn't hit your vocal cords, but you wouldn't also be like choking on your blood either. What is this creature? It just like vomited stuff out? This almost looks like bone, but it's not. It looks like a big teratoma. It's not a toma.
It's not a tumor.
It's made up of so much weird stuff with weird shapes, and that's what a teratoma looks like. Hair, skin, non-specific tissue, all balled up into usually a ball or a weird form that looks like a sphere-ish. Big sword or knife hitting the right upper back through the clavicle down the right shoulder. We're seeing a ton of blood come pouring out of there. Could this happen, or what would you have to hit to be able to get that amount of blood to come pouring out? You have to hit the subclavian vein and the arteries following in that area. The aorta comes up and over and goes to the left in most humans, and then you have branches to supply blood to your upper extremities. We have a mushroom. Is this a cordyceps? What is this? It is something related to a plant. We see some growths on the skin. Sometimes we have growths on human skins. We have these like weird horns that grow on people's skin related to like skin disorders. Cordyceps mushroom does not grow on humans. It does take care of insects and invades their nervous system, but not humans, just so you're aware. Ugh. Oh no. The brain does have blood around it, and we bleed into our brains, but the brain themselves don't have significant amount of blood in them. Blood vessels that run through them, and then they're very small thereafter. Can you live without a part of your brain? Yes, you actually can. Just depends on which part of the brain that is and how important it is to your daily function. Wait, what? What is up with the arm? We got growth on the arm? Morphing into a plant beast. The right arm, you can see the forearm is way overdeveloped, and same with like the bicep and the shoulder growing like roots. But it's white, so could this be like dead tissue? When we have people that have a dead limb, it's usually pale, cool, not painful anymore because it's already set in. Or if it just happened, it could be really painful. It looks straight midline going through the airway and the esophagus. You do have some blood vessels here, but not to where they would pour out that much. When we do emergent airways, we do crikes. Basically, we open up this area so we know it will bleed, and there are some small arteries that are there, but they're not going to bleed to this extent. When the blade gets pulled out, that's when all the disaster starts happening. And that happens in real life too. It's not tamping at it anymore. Bleeding's gonna happen. Or somebody gets into a car crash and you're pinned. The minute you get out of that scenario, typical problems happen. The blood pressure drops, your heart rate goes up, you might pass out because it was sustained for a moment and then all of a sudden everything gets worse again. Wait. Weird wounds on the back, bloody, circular, or a growth. If somebody came to the ER with like open wounds to the back like that, we need to examine it, clean it. Really hard to anesthetize that much area. Sometimes we can use topical medications that will absorb in. Sometimes you can actually put like lidocaine on a gauze and let it absorb into the tissue a little bit. And so that helps with anesthesia versus injecting a ton of lidocaine to this area. Blunt force trauma to your head, skull, all that stuff, not compatible with life if enough brain tissue has been crushed and destroyed, because then it doesn't function the way that it should. We see shackles on the wrists here, so that adds insult to injury. We'll see people who have frontal bone fractures, the frontal sinus here, so there's an air pocket. So the bone is a little bit thinner right here and here. So you can actually fracture that pretty good, and you'll have a depressed skull fracture is often what we see. Oh, a new character. What is this? Looks like it is a massive thumb with 3 big fingers, much bigger hands than anybody else. When we see hands like that, we worry about somebody who's got acromegaly, which is a pituitary abnormality where you're actually producing too much of the hormones, which then cascade into too much growth hormone. Think of like Andre the Giant, who's a perfect example. Oh. Just squeezing, oh my gosh. If watching horror games like this leaves you wired or staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., you're not alone. That's where Do Not Disturb by my company Life Happens could come into play to calm racing thoughts and help your brain power down when it's time to go to bed. Check it out at lifehappens.com or on Amazon. Whoa. Wolf bite, animal bite. We see these come to the emergency department often enough. Most of the time they're domestic animal bites. Sometimes they are other animals. The biggest thing we always worry about is the tissue injury, bone injury, and then covering to make sure that somebody's not losing a significant amount of blood or a limb, and also infections. Just like humans who have very dirty mouths, animals do as well. Their teeth are sharper and they penetrate deeper. They will embed bacteria into the tissue that you can't clean out well. This is crazy. This is a really unique game. Let me know what you think about the game. Let me know about the react. If you want me to do more reactions to different video games, let me know what games you want me to check out. As always, definitely binge watch this playlist right here. Binge watch everything. And do me a favor, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications, and hit that like button for me. Thank you so much for watching, and stay healthy, my friends.